What is CKP? Let me show you.
We're about to enter one of Bangalore's largest ethnic markets. Our inner shopaholics are making an entrance.
Do you ever wonder how all of this came about? Like, how all this art came under one roof?
Okay, so story time. The year is 1960, and a group of very young art aficionados have gathered together with a singular goal in mind: to create a space for people like them and students and artists from all walks of life from all over the country to gather together to preserve and to propagate the rich cultural history that India has to have, right? And they focus specifically on Karnataka also. Before Chitrakala Parishad was formed, there was no central organization or institution that focused on specific ethnic and regional art crafts and art forms from Karnataka. After that was formed, after the Parishad was formed, we then started to make these stalls that we see here today. And these stalls originally were located in the 2.5 acre plot that CKP used to inhabit, and it would feature artists and art aficionados coming from all over the country who would have these stalls. These stalls were so popular that we started going to separate different places within the district. We started going to places such as Lal Bagh and Kabin Park and stuff before we ultimately ended up here. And now the Parishad garners such a large variety of crowds and such a large variety of artists that we are selling items ranging from like pottery and crockery, maybe jewelry to handiworks to bed sheets and all kinds of things.
Being a videographer, the visual aspect of any location matters the most to me and the camera. The aesthetics have a huge impact on the frames shown on the screen. Looking at CKP, it has an appeal to both aesthetics and commerce. Therefore, the materialistic needs are met.
You know, there's a vibrancy about this place.
It's very earthy. There's almost a very pleasing tone to the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it also seems like they've got some color theory going on with all the stalls being very bland.
Yeah.
In sense that all the stalls themselves is bland, but what is placed there are very colorful, vibrant objects that garner your attention.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's almost like there is an aesthetic to CKP. You know, it's something that they follow. It's like a pattern. Like when you, every display, each stall, it's sort of curated for you. Like it's like, for example, when you enter, the first thing you don't see is the vendor. The first thing you see is the display in itself. And the positionality of the display sort of like is made for the customer, is curated for you. It's very personalized.
It's also the fact that like when you enter and you see all the stalls, there's a certain continuity to the stalls. So maybe the first stall would be clothing, let's say. Right. The next stall is going to be accessories. The very next one will be jewelry. So it's sort of like as you walk through this place, you're garnering everything that you might require on like a day-to-day basis. There's a continuity in that sense.
Yeah, there's a certain size to it. The stalls are not randomly placed. So like as Roshan said, suppose the stalls are placed together in a manner that they lead to each other in a way. So as he said, suppose there's a stall for clothes and there'll be a stall for shawls, then jewelry, something like that. It's all very brilliantly marketed, I think.
It's like everything here complements each other and there's nothing that feels out of place. It's almost like the second you step in, it makes an impact on you and you basically cannot step out without making a purchase. And if you do step out without making a purchase, you almost feel guilty for it and like as if like, oh no, next time I'm gonna go back and buy that one thing that I saw.
Yeah, last time I came here, I had this one very particular bowl that I saw. It's not on sale in the world. I was so sad. I came here just for the bowl.
It's like a bombardment, you know. You would like to shop in that way. First clothes, then jewelry. They've done it very smartly. You just cannot resist buying. Look at the colors.
Chitakala Parishad as a space appealed to us because it is a great representation of culture as a commodity if and how there is an exploitation of cultural producers and aesthetics and its important role in cultivating taste and high culture. Chitakala Parishad houses products and artifacts from all over India. It is the hub of culture. Once you step in, you are amidst a myriad of products from all over India that show off and display vibrancy and creativity.
Marxism as a theory is very fundamental in how we wanted to look at our space, which is CKP. CKP as a space is one that provides a lot of discourse on the topic of producing or almost manufacturing a lifestyle for its consumer base. In our documentary especially, we wanted to look at culture industry mentality and the effects it could have on its consumer base.
The flexibility of studying CKP as a lived space was the freedom to study both the vendor and the consumer. We had an opportunity to study production and consumption. There's a very famous quote by Adorno which goes, "Masses are not the measure, but the ideology of the culture industry." Even though the culture industry itself would scarcely exist without adapting to the masses. Adorno challenges culture industry's sincerity of concern for the masses and states that the masses are the ideology and ideology is instilled in the masses. Society is made up of masses. Therefore, the consumer is not merely a subject but just an object. What's something specific you come here for usually, and what's something you noticed on your visit here? Very specific.
Yeah, usually textiles and some art, from they have art from Orissa and some nice handmade paintings. They were quite interesting. So I liked them, very much. So I came and picked up some. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you?
So I think everything from different state is available. So it's like a one-stop shop for all the things that you need from different places.
Right.
So we don't need to go in search of places. So at least whenever I come here, I look for something, and if I cannot afford it at that time, I know, okay, I'll come and pick it up next time. So I know exactly what is available. So like this time I picked up a Madhubani art. Okay, which I have been exploring, but whenever I can afford, I'll just come and pick it up. So
It's good to pick up small things from here, for me to give presents in America. I need to carry it back with me and all that stuff.
So, do you think it sort of sets a standard for people who come here, and also like a standard for art and artifacts and a certain culture that it promotes?
absolutely. And there is quality, know it is not something that you can confidently buy, right? I mean, you don't have to think twice, or you don't have to check with there's no second opinion,
Right.
Because we have bought it here, and CKP is known for that kind of standards and quality. So we don't just think otherwise, we just drop in and pick up what we need.
And how do you incorporate these purchases into your life? Like, what sort of impact does it have on you?
See, clearly, when I'm buying something, I'm buying because it makes me very happy, right? If it doesn't make me happy, I won't buy it.
Right.
So the fact that it is making me happy is what I take home.
Okay.
So that happiness is there, whether it's a painting or you buy some item, earring. So I wear it, and that confidence, and it definitely makes me happy. And whatever we take, ambience also makes it happy. You feel happy, displaying something at home.
Right.
So it's all, I think, lifestyle. Shopping is a part of our lifestyle.
For us to be using these theories and theorists, the question of consumption and production become very essential components. While we look at culture industry at large, it becomes apparent to us that it cannot function or exist without adapting to the need of the masses. We get the appeal that a lifestyle can be achieved, that it is manufactured for us. And this observation we largely found through our interviews with the vendors and the customers there.
ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಬಜಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗಾದ್ರೂ ಇದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಎವ್ರಿ ಸ್ಯಾಟರ್ಡೆ ಸಂಡೇ ಫ್ರೈಡೇ ಎವ್ರಿ ವೀಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಎವ್ರಿ ವೀಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಕಟ್ಟಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು.
ಹೌದಾ? ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೈಲಿ ಬರೋ ಜನರು ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್
ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಳೆ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರ ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ ನಂಬರ್
ನಂಬರು ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಊರುಗಳಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ನೋಡಿ ಈ ಪೀಸು ಅಮೆರಿಕಾಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಹೌದಾ?
ಆ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬಂತ.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಅವರು?
ಖಂಡಿತ ಖಂಡಿತ.
ನೀವು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಈಗ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಡೈಲಿ ನೀವು ಇಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಅದು ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರು?
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್. ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ನೇ ಅವರು, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಥರ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಅಂಗಡಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಡೈಲಿ ನಮಗೆ 10 ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ 5,000 10,000 ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಾದ್ರೆ 10,000 ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ 5,000 ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. 10 ಡೇಸ್ ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ 10 ಡೇಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಫ್ರೈಡೆಯಿಂದ ಸಂಡೇವರೆಗೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಮಂಡೇ ಟ್ಯೂಸ್ಡೇ ವೆಡ್ನೆಸ್ಡೇ ಥರ್ಸ್ಡೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಫ್ರೈಡೆಯಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್. ಅದೇ ಅದು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಫ್ರೈಡೇ ಸ್ಯಾಟರ್ಡೇ ಸಂಡೇ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ.
ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ವರೆಗೆ ನೀವು?
ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ 10 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ, ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ 8 ಗಂಟೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ.
One thing that we were able to notice on our multiple visits to CKP was the similarity of multiple displays. The second we stepped in, a lot of stalls had the same design of, let's say, jewelries, which were constantly replicated and sold at a different range of prices. This came as a shock to us because the vendors had claimed to come from different parts of the country and also said that they had made these or had businesses that would make these as a traditional art form. So the art forms such as clothes or jewelry or any form of artifact was constantly replicated in a way that it was made for the masses. This homogenization of items can be explained through the idea of standardization to meet the apparent need of the masses, as explained by Adorno in his work Culture Industry Reconsidered. Here's a quote by Adorno. In all its branches, products which are tailored for consumption of masses and which, to a great extent, determine the nature of that consumption are manufactured more or less according to plan. The individual branches are similar in structure or at least fit into each other, ordering themselves into a system almost without a gap. This does not indicate specifically that culture or ethnic motifs are manufactured specifically for mass consumption by the vendors, but rather that through time, patterns of consumption have led to the focus of vendors creating and selling items of motifs that get sold the most or that cater to the needs of the masses the most. This leads to a cyclical pattern that in turn creates homogenization. The needs of the masses become a priority over artistry. It almost puts the aspect of replication of ethnic motifs of the same kind over trying new art forms and putting it out for the masses.
Based on our interactions with Renu ma'am, who told us that she went to CKP to purchase items such as baskets, I had an observation which sort of led me to thinking how items that were sold in CKP, such as maybe Barney's, dream catchers or the aforementioned baskets themselves, are items that in their cultural and geographical context have very strong cultural value apart from just being practical commodities. These commodities, when they're sold to the urban population or the urban consumer base that appears a lot more in CKP, they're buying these items not for their practical purpose always, they're buying it more so for their aesthetic purpose. And as Adorno notes, cultural entities typical of the cultural industry are no longer also commodities, they are commodities through and through. This quote suggests that when a cultural commodity is monetized upon, it often loses its ability to be called also commodities, and it becomes just that, a commodity to be purchased and sold, and not one that has cultural context behind it.
From the interviews that we conducted at CKP, we were able to find out that the prices that the items were sold at, or the products or artifacts were sold at, tended to come at a hiked up rate or a rate that was not usually affordable by the common man. This led us to believe that most of the customers happen to be from an upper middle class background, thus affecting what is produced, what is consumed, and the aspect of who it is catered to. We can link this further to the discussion that we previously had about homogenization. This can largely talk about how certain areas or certain bazaars cater to the needs of certain classes and how this largely plays a major role in replication and consumption and production process of businesses.
Culture industry aims to have psychological control over the masses by meeting the consumer and the aesthetic needs of the consumers. It posits the idea that the requirements or the needs of the dominant classes are primary. Although CKP is known as a place where artists and artisans are coming together to showcase their culture from all across the country, it also does meet the requirements of its consumer base. Right? This has more than just aesthetic or artistic implications towards its consumers, but it also has a social function attached to it.
And do you think the prices of the products over here, they are reasonable, justifiable?
Not always, not all of them. Some are expensive, but I think some are okay. But I think it really depends if you like the product and if you think that price is okay. But I wouldn't say it's very reasonable. It is some shops, I think some products are okay, but some are quite expensive. So you need to maybe, I don't know how much you can bargain also, but I think you need to figure out which one is worth buying.
And have you ever observed this trend in the market where vendors, they tend to sell what is popular instead of what really fits their culture or state as such?
No, see, everywhere, okay, you go to any market, people would want to sell what is trending. But I think end of the day, it's us as customers who decide, even if something is going on trend, and then if you don't see the customers buying it, so eventually they'll just go away. So because people are buying, that's the reason they also have the stall. So probably if you don't require it and then the trend will just go away. So I think end of the day it does fit in what customers need. So you come in, you buy, only then that's how they can have a stall, right?
Another eye-opening fact that we learned when we studied our space, CKP, was the hierarchy of businesses. CKP is popularly known for its myriad of exhibitions that change almost every 10 days. And one thing that remains constant is the major event companies that do and are in charge of handling these exhibits. The artisans and the vendors who do come from these small districts and small towns to sell their traditional art forms or whatever they produce are made to pay a fee, which largely affects the background of their artistry and production and consumption.
It wasn't surprising that holding such a large-scale event would require the involvement of some corporations. But what we did find to be very interesting though is that a large number of the artisans, of the people who set up stalls there, weren't artisans themselves but were merely middlemen. Ironically enough, the exhibition was called the Artisans Bazaar. What we found to be happening there is that people from outside would come and act as middlemen and setting up these stalls. Sometimes it would even be such the case that the middlemen would come, create these stalls and have the items procured and created by artisans, but would hire people from outside to come and sell these items themselves.
The complicated hierarchy of production was something that truly stood out to us. The exploitation of cultural producers was our area of interest, and the interviews that we had taken proved our point. Keeping the aesthetics and cultural implications of CKP in mind, it somehow happened to also have major economic implications. This exposed the complex nature of capitalism seeping into the industry such as artistry. So you're from Bangalore, you're a local.
Yes.
Yeah. So how does CKP sort of manufacture a lifestyle or set a standard for you?
I would just say by stating that you can never go out of CKP with just one thing. It's sort of like when you enter, you're pulled into this world of like Indo-ethnic, like Western, like stuff that kind of aesthetically pleases you, so you're sort of inclined to buy it. So it sort of, you know, constructs this entire like dream shopping area type thing, you know, which, and plus like if it aligns with your tastes, it's pretty good.
The institutionalization of tastes that CKP creates has a direct influence on what gets to be called high art, or art that is meant to have high value. This leads to the question, are the items sold in CKP called to have high value because it is sold in CKP, or are they sold in CKP due to its high value? CKP has a large amount of ethos associated with its name, thus giving it power as a legitimizing source of viewing or interacting with art from high culture or high value. This provides for a site of attaining cultural capital, thus shaping the views and perception of art in terms of its customers and its visitors.
So CKP is one of the oldest fine arts colleges in Bangalore, and this lends to it a certain respectability. It comes with a certain established identity already, and this identity leads the customers to believe that under the guise of authentic and original, they are actually getting the original product. But in actuality, the very reason CKP has its respect and reputation and the trust the customers have in it is because of the institution CKP, the college. And the identity of the bazaar is linked and caused by this institution. CKP is ultimately meant for a particular crowd. It boasts a certain standard, a taste, and without this crowd, it cannot uphold its reputation or its standards. आप CKP में कैसे आए? इससे पहले आप मतलब यहाँ कैसे आ गए?
बंदर में अभी इवेंट के लिए हम चित्र संत में आते हैं, वही टाइम में एक CKP आया था म्यूजियम, उसमें है ना म्यूजियम, उनको कुछ पेंटिंग देता, फिर कलर की तरफ इधर भी आते हैं इवेंट के लिए।
तो आपको यहाँ स्टॉल करने के लिए, बुक करने के लिए कुछ देना पड़ता है?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं, कभी कभार देते हैं, कभी तो CKP वाला मिलता है।
अच्छा,
तो
ऐसे
पेंटिंग दे के चले जाते हैं ना, हो गए।
अच्छा,
इधर कभी को मतलब ये जो इवेंट चल रहा है कभी तो ये फ्री है, दूसरा कभी आता है तो पैसा
आपको
लेते
आपसे पैसे मतलब आपसे यहाँ स्टॉल के लिए पैसे नहीं लेते हैं?
लेते हैं बहुत कम।
अच्छा,
మీ బడ్జెట్ మీకు అనిపిస్తుందా అది కరెక్ట్ బడ్జెట్ పెడుతున్నారు ఈచ్ కార్పెట్?
మన షోరూమ్స్ కంటే ఫ్యాబ్ ఇండియా కంటే మన వేరే షోరూమ్స్ కంటే చాలా తక్కువ.
ఇంకా మీరు ఎవరికైనా పే చేస్తారా ఇక్కడ స్టాల్ పెట్టడానికి?
స్టాక్ కొంచెం నార్మల్గా పే చేయాలి.
సో ఒక కంపెనీ హ్యాండిల్ చేస్తుందా ఇదంతా, లేకపోతే
ఇది ఒక ఆర్గనైజేషన్ గ్రూప్ ఉంది, వాళ్ళు చేస్తారు.
ఓకే, ఆ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ పేరు?
మేడం 10 డేస్కి ఒకసారి నేమ్ చేంజ్ అవుతూనే ఉంటుంది, అది మనం ఏదని చెప్పలేము. 4-5 ఆర్గనైజర్స్ ఉంటారు, వాళ్ళు ఏ నేమ్ పెడతారు మనం చెప్పలేము.
ఓకే, మీరు ఇక్కడ నుంచా లేకపోతే మీరు బెంగళూరు లోకల్?
మేము బెంగళూరు లోకల్, ఐటమ్స్ మాత్రం ఒరిస్సా
నుంచా? మీరు ఎవరికైనా పని చేస్తారా లేకపోతే ఇది మీ స్టాల్?
నేను పని చేస్తాను.
ఇంకా మీరు ఇక్కడ స్టాల్ పెట్టడానికి డబ్బులు పే చేస్తారా?
అవును.
ఎంత?
అది మాకు తెలీదు, ఓనర్కి తెలుసు. ఈజీబుల్గానే పెట్టింటారు ప్రైస్ అంతాను. స్టాల్ ప్రైస్ కూడా ఏమంతగా ఉంది.
మీ ఓనర్ ఎవరు?
ఒరిస్సా, అతను ఒరిస్సా.
ఆయన దగ్గర బిజినెస్ ఉందా లేకపోతే?
అతను ఆదివాసీ జనాల దగ్గర ఇంకా చేపించుకొని ఎత్తుకొని వచ్చి ఇక్కడ ఐటమ్ పెడతారు.
కంపెనీ ఉందా ఆయన దగ్గర?
కంపెనీ లేదు.
సో ఓకే.
So in conclusion, through our exploration of CKP, we were able to identify how cultural commodities are turned into mere products meant for consumption. And we also identified how there are intersections of aestheticism, consumerism, and the social implications thus formed. So, beneath the vibrant exterior of the market, there's a complex web of social, cultural, and economic intersectionality. Through a Marxist lens and Adorno, Bordeaux, and Horkheimer's insights, we were able to identify how we delved deep into the culture industry and saw its impact on the market, CKP as such. Also, we witnessed how the mass inclinations and the commodification of culture together shaped the production and consumption, the pattern of production and consumption of CKP. But regardless, CKP Chitrakala Parishad is a great addition to Bangalore's diversity, and it adds richness to the city's culture.